Midnight Music.
Coming up this week on Kings of the Wings podcast. My goodness.
Wings? You said wings.
Wings
buddy.
and rings. I don't know. It was a long weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend. And Jesus Christmas, what a weekend wrestling it was. From betrayals to surprises to exploding super kicks because AEW had to do something to get on here. So we are going to recap Night of Champions, NXT Battleground, and AEW Double or Nothing. It was a wild weekend in wrestling to kick off the summer, and it is our summer wrestling kickoff show here on Kings of Rings podcast, exclusively of Wrestle Addict Radio. Oh yeah, Seth Rollins won a new title, and it starts right now.
The main event that went on first.
You got to go there. Yeah, you ever hear of a main event that went on to start the show? Because I haven't.
Nope. That is not means it's not the main. It's the first event.
Yeah, it's the first of a I don't remember. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 342, the summer of wrestling kickoff show. I've been your host, King Ricky Rose, along with Willie T. No K Murphy. Apparently, K Murphy went to New Orleans, which I totally forgot to mention last week, which they totally forgot to mention to us that was the week that they were going to New Orleans. So K is recovering from New Orleans, as one does. Trust me, Will and I have firsthand experience of recovering from New Orleans. So K will officially be back next week, which is fine because we have a lot to talk about in terms of professional wrestling. At some point during this show, Tony Khan's going to make another big announcement because literally they promoted that Tony Khan's making another big announcement. So that is also a thing. But we're mostly going to focus on everything that happened this past Memorial Day weekend to unofficially kick off summer and the summer of wrestling. Before we get into that, Will, how are you, sir?
One of these days, Tony Khan's like, my big announcement is, guess what, guys? I'm gay. Drop the mic and just walk away.
It is about to be Pride Month, so happy Pride Month, everybody.
That's the announcement. Yeah, it might be. We've had Night of Champions, and pretty soon we're going to have Night of Main Events, where every match is a main event. You can start calling me Main Event Tarashik. It's T's and Thomas, A-R-A-S-H. Main Events. It's going to be a fun show. I can't wait.
Yeah, even AEW had a double main event.
Of course they did.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, it was a thing. AEW had a double main event. It was an interesting week in the world of pro wrestling. I do kind of like it. No major announcements, but we did have a lot of shows that really kind of set the tone for what we should probably expect this summer in professional wrestling between WWE, AEW, and NXT. Impact had some stuff as well. From one of our members on Discord, Wade said Impact seems to be doing really well because Impact somehow kind of just still makes it from time to time. Naomi being their big signee, but we're not going to talk about anything Impact related. If you want to talk about anything Impact related, go check out the Brace for Impact podcast, hosted by our friend Nate the Effin' Great, who wrestles as a banana on the Indies.
I love that Nate wrestles as a banana. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but it's also the greatest thing. I say dumb as a compliment.
Listen. If Nate finagles his way onto like AEW, like Dark or Dark Elevation or something, I'll be so happy.
Oh, I'm rooting for him, man. I'm hoping his career is long and prosperous and doesn't ever get peeled or rotten.
Listen. If Nate somehow gets a contract with AEW and just finds a way to appear on TV, we all have to go and dress up as bananas.
Dude, I can't wait for Jim Cornette just to rip him apart. Oh my God. That will be the highlight of my life.
I'm not gonna lie.
Having Jim Cornette rip apart one of my friends dressed as a banana.
I do from time to time listen to Jim Cornette rants.
Oh, it's the best.
Because he kind of has some points, actually.
The guy's out of his mind, too. It's the best.
He's out of his mind, but he does kind of have a good wrestling sense half the time, still. So it's pretty crazy, but we'll go into our crazy, somewhat Jim Cornette's rants. But let's go into Night of Champions. Are we in like year 6 of this contract? It's like 5 or 6. When did it start?
I mean, they had to take a year or two off because of COVID, right? Because they couldn't go.
So does
there.
that extend the contract, or?
I'd assume so.
Maybe.
So I think it depends. Do they do years period or X amount of events over said years?
Ooh, I don't know, but I feel like
I'd assume it would be if they were smart from both parties, it would be X amount of events over a 10-year period.
yeah. Which at this point they've got to be close to the midway point of this, and
Oh, definitely. I think they definitely got the midway point.
I think these 2018 was the first one, so 5. Okay, so you're around the midway point. So at this point, these were kind of like sideshows, but this is now becoming part of the story, which I enjoy. It's a big fight feel. Their press conferences were great. They do a lot of, I guess you can say, humanitarian work there. They did a lot of other extracurriculars on the socials for this event in particular, which was really good. But it was nice to see, and I loved that set. By the way, I was like, why can't WrestleMania have this set? I was like,
I thought they called it the Jeddah Superdome.
I forgot it was in a dome. I was like, this is so fucking huge. I was like, oh yeah, it's in a dome.
That was gorgeous.
Yeah.
No, they do a really good job making you think Saudi Arabia is like wow, this place is like America.
Yeah, it's a little different. And Jeddah's a very interesting city in and of itself. I mean, from what they show, it looks beautiful. Like I would love to go one of these days if I ever had the money to even make it over there. I know people who have gone. But let's go into what was the real main event of the show, which is, again, hey, tag team match. Roman celebrated 1,000 days by getting into a tag team championship match with his cousin, Solo Sikoa, trying to win the tag team titles from Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who not only came out, and I think in a traditional Muslim gear, which I'm not exactly sure what his... what that piece of clothing is called, because I don't want to fuck it up. But I knew it was something that really popped the crowd. And he was actually very, very well received from the press conference to the match and everything in between. I know they documented his trip to Mecca.
I was shocked.
Cool. Were you?
I was shocked how well received he was.
Because I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, we heard the reason he couldn't go there previously was because of the tensions between nations. Well, I should say governments.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say nations. I want to say governments. Because he's an atheist.
No, he's Muslim.
He was formerly Muslim and now he's an atheist, something like that.
No, from everything that looked like, he's still completely Muslim.
Or maybe he is still completely Muslim. I was a little surprised there too. It was like he was speaking
Arabic,
whatever he was speaking Arabic to the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So, I loved the pop he got and how over he was and how Kevin Owens let him have his moment and everyone let him have his moment, and it was great to see, man. I mean, especially because he couldn't go there for his safety for all these years.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
For what? Like really? For what? So to see him get a standing ovation across the board was amazing and refreshing.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. Like I said, they documented his trip to the Mecca, which every Muslim usually tries to make a pilgrimage to Mecca, and he was able to do that. Mustafa Ali also did the same thing. I'm surprised they didn't go at the same time, but to see them both get that opportunity to visit a holy religious site for their religion, and to have WWE be allowed to document that trip, because they were actually inside of the facility too and walked around with them, which I thought was really cool.
I'm also surprised they kind of let them do that.
Yeah,
because Mecca is the holiest of holy grounds next to like the tomb of Jesus.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. But they documented the whole thing, and it was really cool to see. And like you said, it was cool to have Sammy get that ovation, and this is going to come up probably a couple of other times when we talk about stuff. We've been talking a lot about how kind of WWE is putting the world in world wrestling entertainment. Finally, yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's going to put a lot of the American crowd on notice. So here's what I mean: it's one thing to be over with an American audience. That's a good feeling of over. It's another thing to be over around the world wherever you go. And there's only a couple of people who in the recent times of WWE have been able to pull that off. And I'm talking like Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and at this point, Sammy's up there too. That is a completely different level of over. And it's going to put a lot of people on notice. And when I saw that reaction from Sammy, I was like, wow, another country where he's over like Roman. I was like, this is nuts. Like, we talked a lot about Seth Rollins, too. Okay, I'll give Seth. Because we talked about how we thought Sammy kind of, and I was almost agreeing with how kind of Sammy was kind of coming down, but then you go here to completely across the world, I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, they lifted him. They lifted him right back up, and the crowd definitely made his win way more believable.
Yeah, no, it was.
I mean,
great.
Jimmy helped, but but like Sammy still gets that 3 count. Kevin sets it up. Sammy gets the pin. Kevin walks out first. Sammy gets the full music. They don't have shared music. It's Sammy is still A and Kevin Owens is very much B, which makes the turn even better.
If the turn even happens, I mean, let's talk.
I mean, like 6 months from now, please.
Yeah, they're bound to have a turn on each other at some point. But I mean, going into this, obviously, there's chaos. Well, I didn't know the Usos were even going to make the trip, but they did. I loved the storytelling. Again, this is the best story in all of pro wrestling. Don't give me any 4 pulls bullshit, and I will talk about that later. This is the best story in all of wrestling. I loved how the only thing Roman saw was the super kick, the solo. Perfect storytelling, perfect camera work, by the way. And then Jimmy finally snapped.
Wait, I think before we get to the snap, I think they could have done this a tiny bit better.
Wow.
Where Sammy ducks, Jimmy kicks, Jay doesn't. Jay catches himself and Jimmy follows through. I think.
Okay.
It's like Jimmy made the mistake, but Jay didn't, and then Roman gets pissed, and then Jimmy kicks him.
Okay, I gotcha.
I think that could have been a tiny bit better, but I mean, it still worked.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, it worked really well.
I didn't think Jimmy would be the first one to turn. It's a nice little swerve. It's a very nice little swerve, and it kicked him twice.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this. I'm doing it again.
I wonder, and this is probably going to be a stretch, and this is also very just marky of me. What if they totally go back to their traditional Usos like gear? Like colored face painted shorts. Yeah.
They both gain weight, get chunky again. Yeah. No, thank you. Please, no, thank you.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting how this goes, but it's another ripple in the storyline, and hopefully it's not dancing. It's called the Hawk. It's traditional war chant.
God, Fres, get culture.
It's not exactly dancing. There's a rugby team that does the Hawk. I forgot which team. I want to say like the New Zealand one.
Manchester United.
No, the rugby team. Ass. But it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. I mean, I love it. Hopefully we've gotten out of a third ending, because apparently, remember when Roman in the press conference after WrestleMania was like, we're only in the third ending of the story. I was like, fucking Christ, Roman.
You're not wrong, right?
Yeah. I hopefully we're in the bottom of the fourth. Hopefully this thing is moving along, but it's going at a pretty interesting pace. It's also one to note that they made this a big thing. Roman Reigns breaking 1,000 days is the 4th person to ever do it. Bruno Sammartino did it fucking twice, which is gross, by the way.
That is fucking disgusting. Yeah, I noticed I had the graphic up. I'm like, wow, Bruno's on there. Holy shit, Bruno's on there twice?
Yeah. Bruno, Pedro Morales, Bob Backlund, because you got to give Bob Backlund something. Because Bob Backlund was a thing for a while.
It was over.
Yeah, and Roman Reigns. So congratulations to Roman. You got what you wanted, Roman. Oh God, I'll talk about that later, Frets. If you read the message board, we'll get to that, or maybe we won't. So congratulations to Roman. It's a good way for Roman to celebrate 1,000 days by losing, but not.
Oh, CM Punk's coming back.
Ooh, yeah.
Got him.
Worst kept secret in all of wrestling. Anywho, Roman loses without getting a loss. Keeps his character strong. And Sammy finally gets his win over Roman, kind of.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
No issues. No qualms.
Yeah, no qualms.
That was
great match, fun match. Roman being Roman. I was watching a replay of one of Issa's, because Issa live streams the events.
Of course.
And she's very good at reading Roman's lips, because why wouldn't she?
You studied those lips, damn it.
Yeah. So apparently, when Roman speared the ref, he gets up and says, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
Not wrong. Gotten away.
That is amazing. So that's how Night of Champions ended, but Night of Champions begun with Seth doing his best cheetah print impression, winning the world title, and God, Seth and AJ are just really fucking good. It was just gross how good that match was. Effortlessly good.
Very, very well put together.
Yeah. And it was King from Tekken. Yes, Taquan, I do recall someone mentioning that as well. He was dressed like King from Tekken, which is good. That world title belt looks really good. Like, really good when it's around someone's waist. And I hope Seth keeps it around his waist all the time. Because what I also noticed when Seth won, outside of how great this match was, Seth did not do his traditional belt swing.
No, he didn't. I noticed that too. He didn't do it. Which I thought was weird.
Triple H probably whispered to him, "Don't you fucking swing this belt." That's what he gave.
Hey, don't break it, pal.
We only have one of these right now. And what one of our Discord members, Taquan, actually mentioned to us as well is that this is, because we had a debate on this in Discord, this actually is a completely new belt, no connected lineage whatsoever, according to WWE.com.
Yeah, no, the math checks out. Ricky, you were right on that one.
Yeah, they couldn't, there's no way they could have synced this up. But this is a completely new belt, new lineage, so Seth is the first of this new World Heavyweight Championship belt. Which again looks prettier and prettier. It looks great. We're gonna see where it goes from here. It was off to a really funky start on Raw.
Yeah, he ripped his pants.
Well, yeah, that and AJ Styles showed up.
You earned it. Okay, AJ. Thanks.
So you know what the cool thing about that moment was as well?
Oh yeah, the fact that AJ was on SmackDown. I told you gonna break
No,
it
well,
already.
not that. AJ was like, "All right, I know I'm supposed to be." He literally said, "I know I'm supposed to be on SmackDown, but I'm here." And then the next segment, when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do a tag match with AJ and Seth versus Judgment Day," or what have you, Adam Pearce is on the phone. He's like, "Hey, you're supposed to be on SmackDown, but this isn't supposed to happen. I'm on phone with higher ups, making sure that we're allowed to do this." I was like, "Okay, we're kind of addressing the elephant in the room, finally."
Yeah, but they're still saying.
But they still went through with
it.
it. They still went through with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, like who's Adam Pearce talking to? Like himself? Isn't he the GM of both? Like who's the GM of SmackDown?
That's what would make the brand split somewhat more if you had separate GMs like they used to. But then did you also see the Sammy and Kevin Owens segment?
No, I missed. I get to watch. I didn't
KO
get to watch.
trolled the marks again. Because I forgot who interrupted their segment. Some people, Imperium interrupted their segment.
Imperium.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like Baldy. Why don't you say anything?
Well, no, that too. But once they showed up, he goes, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here right now. You're not supposed to interrupt them. We're supposed to introduce you. You can't do that. That's not part of the rules." Kevin Owens just starts going off. "You're violating the rules, bro. What are you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. He just keeps
Just acting like a Twitter troll.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I was like, "Oh, never change, Kevin. Never change whatsoever." But yeah, no, good. That's a fantastic match. I love how didn't AJ hit the pedigree? AJ was
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, that was really nice. That was really nice to see. It was a fun match. They were. I mean, they've been wrestling since Seth was 19, and I love how they incorporated that into the match. How they kind of know each other and stuff. So it's good. Congratulations to Seth. Unfortunately, Roman still has 2 belts. So this is officially the Shut Up Seth Here's a World title.
Yeah, it's the third title, which means it's the third main event.
That's why it went on first.
That's why I went on first.
Yeah, but the Shut Up Seth, you're a world champion reign has begun. You're still not the Roman story. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's what happened when he won it from Brock. It's like, hey man, you're in New York. You're gonna go on first while your then girlfriend main events.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, Shut Up Seth, here's a world title, and whatever, have fun.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Have fun wrestling Damian Priest for a world title.
He's got some other people on there. Him and Finn would be fun again. There's not other people he can wrestle against, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes from here. Moving on. Brock won clearly because we're going to Brock Cody 3 at at SummerSlam almost has to be that. I doubt they do anything at Money in the Bank, especially we're literally like a month away from Money in the Bank, which seems like eons now compared to the pace we've been going at.
July 6th?
No,
right?
July 1st.
Like, fucker.
Yeah, Canada Day. Shout out to Canada Day, folks. Yeah, this was predictable. I love they played up Cody's arm. I love how Michael Cole was like, "Oh, Cody got a titanium cast." Like, "Oh, he's gonna fucking use it as a weapon, isn't he?"
Yep.
I was like, "Here we go."
His arm is broken, folks. And great match.
Yeah.
My only thing is it believable that he'd pass out from an armbar?
Okay, so I had
I understand it's painful.
Yeah.
But like in any real world scenario, has that ever happened where like you have someone in an armbar and they pass out?
Well, it's a Kimura.
From the pain, a Kimura.
From the pain,
that's in kayfabe. What's going on? He's passing out from the pain.
Yeah.
Right, but like, is that in any way believable in real life to ever happen?
Pass out from pain, sure. Pass out from that particular pain, I'm not sure. I headcanon it to, which headcanon is a thing that you have to do sometimes with things like Marvel movies. I headcanon it because the way that I saw the lasting image, it almost looked like Brock headlocked him or had like his side against his neck, which may have caused him to pass out. That's how I kind of had to surmise it. But I'm not sure.
The actual pass out was better than when they were faking it. I will give them that.
Yeah.
But it's like at that point, dude, just put him in a fucking headlock. Like, just put him in a sleeper. Like, actually knock him out. Not like knock him out, but make it believable.
So according to Mr. Pratt, his brother has a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that can cut off circulation. Huh. Okay.
To the head though. I mean, it can cut off circulation to the arm.
But if he's pressed against his neck too, which I think he was at that final position.
If you had a shoulder against the neck,
yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of how I saw it. It was either a headlock or there was pressure against that neck, which could have passed him out, which, again, I'm fine with.
Yeah, because at least when Austin did it, he was bleeding. It's like, oh, he passed out from blood loss. And pain, which is more believable.
Yeah. This one was a little bit hard to realize because I was like, wait, this is a Kimura. Like, there should be no pressure against the neck. But the way he had a position, which was kind of pressure against the neck, which is fine.
It's like, how do you... Yeah, I guess this is wrestling, but like, how do you pass out from this? But it was a great match. These two really went at it. It was physical. It wasn't just finisher pinhold kick out. Like it was good. It was a very, very good match. I was very happy with it.
Yeah, no, Fretz is also confirming that it was pressed against the neck. So okay, that does make sense that he could pass out from it, if that is the case. Again, it was a fun match. These guys are fun, and Brock's very giving when he wants to be, and I think Brock understands that this is a marquee match. That doesn't have the titles involved. That's pretty cool.
And Cody kind of knocking around Brock is very believable. Like when he knocked him out of the ring, I thought it was very believable. And yeah, Hell's Gate was more like a triangle choke.
Yes, it is a triangle choke. Yeah,
right, so that one,
which
was
pressure on both sides of the neck.
Yes, and then that makes you cough up blood, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah,
poor Big Daddy V. But yeah, I think Cody actually like bumping around Brock and Brock selling for him was very, very believable.
Yeah,
not only as like a star power level, but like as a physical level as well.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I mean, this is a Cody side quest. You were talking in video games, sir. It's a fun side quest.
Yeah,
it's a fun side quest. But SummerSlam culmination should be fun. It's probably I'm assuming it might be Last Man Standing, even though Brock did that last year. But there's going to be some stipulation for this.
Ooh, give them.
I don't want to say Iron Man.
No, hell no. Brock's not working that long
anymore.
He could. He just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Oh, what would you give them?
Although he's in Detroit, he's right on the edge of Canada. Like he can work pretty long and still make it home by dinner. What would you give them for SummerSlam? If it's a Final Fantasy, Brock is Gilgamesh.
How about a buried alive match?
For no reason.
Just fucking go for it, dude. No, real talk though. I could see Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
Oh, they could just go no holds barred.
No holds barred will probably work.
Just no DQ.
Yeah.
They can't do an I Quit match. They could do a submission match.
What's Cody's submission?
What was Austin's submission?
Touche. I think I Quit might work.
Yeah, but you gotta have Brock say he quits, which.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Or you have your good old American hero. No, like neither of them can realistically say they quit.
yeah. Or you can mic like they did.
First Blood would be the one to do.
Oh, Cody loses in 2 seconds.
I think they couldn't do First Blood in the PG era, but I think back in the day, First Blood would be a good one.
First Blood would have been great.
Yeah.
Oz's submission was the $1 Million Dream. That's right, when he first came in.
Yeah.
Because he was a $1 Million champion. Parking lot. We're not doing a parking lot brawl in Detroit would be funny.
Oh, dude, the factory fake out, dude. They brawl in a factory.
Yeah.
Like remember Sting and Darby Allin did the warehouse match.
Yeah.
With whoever they did it with.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That would be great. I know.
Pandemic match.
I'm interested to see what they do in part 3. Moving on to the shocker of the event, Asuka finally gets something to make her iconic character worth watching, and has a finish. Has a great finish, beats Bianca Belair, dethrones Bianca Belair. Congratulations to Bianca Belair, because you deserve a fucking vacation. And wins the Raw title. My only nitpick about this, I was only like, why couldn't they just done this at WrestleMania, which would have been a great finish as well. But they dragged.
They wanted to give Bianca the full year.
She was already over 400 by the time.
400 was she?
Yeah, by the time she's the longest reigning. All right, so Bianca's accolades with this title run: longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, and also longest reigning African American champion, gender notwithstanding. And I think also she might also be longest reigning women's champion as well.
Of the modern
era, yeah.
Said. Yeah.
As well. So she had most of those accolades leading into Mania, so I was like, why didn't you just do this at Mania? Although I love the finish because we've never seen someone use the mist in that way.
It was a great idea. They botched it a little bit. Like after the match, you just couldn't see it.
You couldn't see it around her eyes, yeah.
Yeah, like Bianca was selling it, but even Jazz was just like, "There's nothing there, Bianca. What the fuck?" She was really mad. Bianca lost.
I bet she
was. Asuka ain't shit. This is bullshit. I was like, Bianca, stop being a fool. What are you doing? It's like on your face. Shut the fuck up. Get up. Get up. Like she was like actually angry. I was like, God damn, go back to watching TikTok. Christ. But she was right. Like Bianca was sitting on the floor going like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," when nothing's on her face.
Yeah, I think the issue was
That's the camera. The camera mentioned a cut to her because when they actually did it, it was on her face. But for some reason, when after the pinfall, it was just gone.
It was wiped off. Yeah.
It was wiped off. So great finish, great idea. Asuka didn't get enough of it on her hand to wipe on her face.
You know what I think it was? And I think this was just an issue with the way that setup with the mist is. There probably wasn't enough liquid in the mist. Remember, she faked it out. It was a fake out. Yeah. So there was some mist that was expelled, and I don't think there was enough retained in Asuka's mouth to like kind of create that illusion.
It's just like a pill, right? That they put in their mouth.
I think it has to be some sort of pill that you have to like cheek for a little bit, or put it under your tongue, and then like if you were like cracking cyanide, in your mouth, you kind of crack it that way really quick that no one sees, and then you just blow it out. That's what my assumption is. Or it could be that the ref hands it to her secretly, and then she kind of like sneaks it into her mouth at some point.
That too, but I thought it was a very, very clever finish.
Yeah, I loved the finish. I thought it was great.
I love the finish. It just wasn't executed perfectly, but not their fault. It was good enough. It got the message across, and
it was a shock.
Very surprised Asuka won. I think it's the right move. Long term, I think it's the right move.
Yeah, Bianca
give
Bianca a break.
Has nothing left.
Yeah.
Bianca's got nothing left. She needs some time off.
Give her a break, please.
And a fresh coat of paint when she comes back.
Yeah, give her something.
She needs a new character. She needs something a little different.
Maybe a little bit more of an edge.
Yes, she needs a tweak.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more of an edge. And now
a little bit of a mean streak.
Yeah, now Asuka becomes the Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown because that's also still a thing. It's also still a thing. I was like, oh god, here we go. Anywho, also on top of that shocker, this is the last match we're going to talk about because Rhea Ripley destroyed Natty in like 2 seconds, which was kind of funny. I was like, thank God.
On her birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Natty. Here's a quick match. I love the tweak in this story. I've always liked Zoe Stark, and I think her getting the Trish rub is going to be brilliant.
I agree. I was like, damn, why you guys look like sisters?
They do, actually.
They do. They look alike, dude. It's like I helped Auntie Trish.
And this is actually, to your point, what you said. This is a finish that actually worked better because the critique you had about the Bianca finish with nothing on it, it worked in reverse because Becky had a lot of blood over her face when Zoe hit her finisher on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
busted her nose
roughed up. Yeah.
And I know I critiqued Trish's wrestling at WrestleMania. She looked fucking great.
Her ring rust is gone now.
Her ring rust is gone. She looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was way, way better than she was at WrestleMania. So
yeah.
I owe you an apology, Trish. She was great. Great wrestler.
Yeah, I love this pairing. Zoe Stark's going to be a made star after this. Trish is the perfect person for her to like kind of learn from. They kind of have the same character archetype in the first place.
Yeah, and Trish could be a mouthpiece because Zoe Stark ain't that great on the mic, and then she's taking Applebee's orders.
Yeah, no, her gear's a lot better, and I think her Raw jacket, like that kind of bright blue and red thing with like one sleeve, is going to be a big signature for her. It makes her stand out. And honestly, her variation of a GTS is phenomenal. Like the spin into a literal like knee to your fucking face out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Fucking great. And Becky sold it like a champ, blood all over her face. Becky even put a picture of it on her social.
She wasn't supposed to.
Kill Bill Becky, fucking great.
I did like Kill Bill Becky. I thought that was really good too.
Yeah, Kill Bill Becky. It's the better version of that because remember she did like the black with yellow for like for her Mania run, and that was supposed to be like Kill Bill. But I was like, this is a lot better. This is a lot better. I love the gear, but I'm very happy for Zoe Stark and Trish. I didn't see that coming. I was like, what the hell is Zoe Stark doing here? And then I was like, oh, they're pairing her with Trish. I was like, oh, they like her. They like her a lot, but it's good because maybe Zoe Stark can be what Shayna Baszler was supposed to be, dominant. Even though Shayna and
oh damn, that's a great picture by Becky Lynch. I'm looking at her.
The bloody picture, yeah.
Her Instagram, yeah.
It sells it. Picture. It sells it really well.
Zoe Stark, you messed up, plain and simple.
Because then it also brings it back to the time that Nia knocked out Becky, and we had Bloody Becky 1. This is Bloody Becky 2. So it kind of plays the nostalgia part of it. So this is going to be a fun feud, and then this is also going to lead into a SummerSlam match. It almost has to.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, which is good.
Becky gets her win back.
Yeah, so Night of Champions overall, I think a lot better than expected. I'm probably going to bump it to like 8.85 for me because I know you've had 7 for it, Will.
Yeah, I think it's that's good. I thought it was a great 8. I was very thoroughly entertained. The Gunther match was fun, and
Gunther and Mustafa, yeah.
I think that's the last one we didn't talk about. Yeah, it was fine.
That was good. Mustafa got a rub from the crowd as well. He got his little rub too as well for being Muslim.
We'll see you next year, Mustafa.
Yeah, I have a Mustafa update for you, but that'll be a little bit later.
Card was fun. Matches were entertaining. Crowd was amazing. Presentation was awesome.
Yeah.
Saudi shows just keep getting better and better. I give it a strong 8.
Yeah, and I'm glad that more of the entertainers are allowed to be in the country.
Yes.
Now, which is good for everybody involved, which is awesome. Let's move on to, I will tell you this, folks, probably out of the 3, the worst event of the weekend was Double or Nothing. Yeah, outside of Pat McAfee kind of critiquing their crowd or lack thereof because they did not sell out. Burgers and fries did not help for a sellout because there was portions of that arena that were blacked out, which AEW, I think, intentionally or unintentionally exposed themselves with. The crowd, because I did watch this over the last 3 days, that crowd really wasn't into that whole event at all, Will.
More like an or nothing.
Yeah, It was a very like they were into the Fatal 4-Way. They were into the Anarchy in the Arena, which I have critiques about. They were in. That was about it. And then the TBS match woke them up. which is we will definitely talk
Yeah,
about.
what happened there with my girl Jade?
Our girl Jade. We'll talk about that, but let's go into Anarchy in the Arena, and there's a picture of, I don't know still how they did an exploding super kick. Fucking weird.
It's great. That's a great photo.
It is
though.
a great photo.
That's a phenomenal. That's a Dave Meltzer took a good one.
Hopefully that person gets paid for that photo. That's a great photo. It looks a lot better than what it was.
It looks like it hurts, dude. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's like a Death Star exploded.
Yeah, so I was watching this before we started. Anarchy in the Arena, to me, it's like Anarchy in the Arena explains to me why War Games is in a cage. That's how I that's how I feel. I get what they were going for, but I don't know if this should be an annual thing at this point. It was, to me, like, I get chaos and you want to create chaos, but it was almost too chaotic. So here's what happened. Bullet Club Elite, because apparently there's Bullet Club Gold, because Bullet Club is becoming so irrelevant that they're factioning off again like the NWO, which everybody knew was a bad thing, but no one fucking listened. Anywho, Bullet Club Elite comes out to Carry On My Wayward Sons. And then Blackpool Combat Club has a band do Wild Thing while they come down from the arena steps from the crowd.
I don't like wrestlers using like pop music. I like how WWE has their own
in-house musicians. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is different, and you can get if you can get it, use it. I mean, it's fine, but it's just weird in wrestling to have like actual songs you sing along to from like fucking Carry On My Wayward Son.
Yeah, again, that's a weird one.
Kansas. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a weird one for them to use. So as this match is going, so Blackpool Combat Club is getting sung out to the ring by this band who's on stage, and they're coming down through the crowd. While the band is still playing, by the way, while they're playing Moxley's song, which is Wild Thing, Bullet Club Elite attacks them in the crowd.
They just keep playing.
And they keep playing. This band continues to play until the Young Bucks super kick the singer, which was about 10 minutes after they started playing.
Okay, that's pretty incredible. I'm not gonna lie. Now that you mention it that way, I think that's pretty. Because you know what? Because everyone's thinking, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
But if it went too long, I totally get that it goes too long. Like what they should have done is they have three of the guys go after the Combat Club.
Yeah.
Then one of the Bucks is going to kick the singer. Like, three go one way, one goes the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, I get the anarchy part, but I feel like it was too much anarchy. Like it was so chaotic that it wasn't controlled, and I don't think the announcers knew where to do. Like the main ref got cut and started bleeding like 2 minutes into the match.
Of course.
And had to be replaced. Okay. Like they were fighting in a parking lot, they were fighting outside in the concessions, all at the same time.
Naturally.
You know, and I like I said, I get the anarchy, but like, where do you cut? Where do you go? How do people do it? So it's like Cesaro was doing a swing in the concession area while they're doing something in the ring. While Moxley is like putting like Kenny Omega's head through a barbed wire poker chip. At the same time, it just didn't feel spaced out, and like I do feel like it went on way too long. Obviously, Don Callis turned on Kenny yet again, and and he brought in somebody from Japan. I forgot his name. It's Taka something.
Takeshita.
Takeshita, yeah. Takeshita's like the fifth member of Blackpool Combat Club.
Did I know that?
I don't know. Yeah, Takeshita showed up and helped them for the win, so it was great and all, but it was just, I think, like Fred said, it was just too long, and it was almost too chaotic. And it was okay. Like, there were some great spots, but it just was all over the place. The band went on for a really, really fucking long time. Like, it took a while for it to actually come together to tell a story. And for a lot of the time, I was like, this is just a lot of spots. I don't know if it's telling a story. And the best analogy I saw was that it was just a giant bar fight that made no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just it was cool and all, but like I don't know, that was kind of the thing. Like the crowd was hot for it because it's a spot fest, and that's kind of what they came for. But overall, it was yeah. I think the match that was the match of the night, which was the quote unquote four pillars fatal four way match between MJF, Sammy, Darby, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Kind of campy, but it was fine in a good way. So all the performers did their mentors' finishing moves at one point. So everybody who had mentored them in the first year, like MJF hit a crossroads, Darby hit a scorpion death drop, Jack Perry hit the unprettier, and I forgot who Sammy's mentor was, but he hit that finisher as well. Oh, he hit the Judas effect. Sammy hit the Judas effect on him. So it was cool and all. And there was there was also a critique that I saw as well that I thought was very interesting as well. And it was something that I was thinking when I was watching it. I think calling them the four pillars on TV is not a good idea.
Interesting. Why is that?
Do you remember anybody during the SmackDown 6 era calling them the SmackDown 6 on TV?
I didn't watch back then, so I guess not.
Yeah, but no, it was kind of a thing that just became, like.
Yeah, I get it's like let the lore be created, don't create the lore.
Yeah, that's what it is, and also the thing as well, like even though it was good, there was a lot of athleticism, but like as I'm looking at them, and you guys are supposed to be the four pillars, like it just, and it's not a fault of theirs. Because of their genetics, but none of them look like they could be top guys. Number one, because they were second to last, and the top guys of the brand did Anarchy in the Arena, which is a kind of a tell on MJF's title reign. But two, they out of everybody, MJF looks like a top guy.
Yeah, well, MJF is a top guy.
Yeah,
for sure. Sammy could be a top guy.
Yeah,
not yet, but he could be there for sure. Darby Allin.
I don't know.
The character's there.
Yeah.
The wrestling's there. But is he marketable?
No. I don't know. I don't think. Yeah.
I mean, Undertaker, but then again, like Undertaker was a top guy because he's a locker room leader, right?
Yeah, but that's not Darby.
Like Undertaker wasn't the top guy winning championships. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like Taker was kind of bigger than a title.
Yeah.
Is Darby Allin bigger than a title?
No.
I mean, he's still young, so maybe. But
yeah.
Like, can you get Darby to be bigger than a title? That's almost harder to do.
Yeah.
And then Jungle Boy, man, he doesn't want to be top guy.
So, he has a name like Jungle Boy. It's going to be hard for him. And like,
yeah.
He does look like a Jungle Boy, but like you got to start becoming Jungle Man at some point.
Jungle Man.
Jungle Man.
But like, yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, he is a pillar because he's a young guy in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a great mid-carder. You know, he's a great Jannetty.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that title, but he needs. From what I've seen from him and what I've heard from him, he has no interest of doing media, which is a fucking problem if you want to be a top guy.
Yeah, and it's also the thing, too, like you said, if you don't create the lore, you let the lore be created. And the fact that they did this and these guys aren't, number one, the main event of the show for your biggest title is telling. And number two...
Wait, they weren't the main event?
No, Anarchy in the Arena went on last.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's problem number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's our future of the mid-card.
Yeah, Anarchy in the Arena went on last. So that's a big problem as well. And number two, you already did it. Now you've done it. What do you do with them now?
I mean, they're all still super young in their careers, so there's plenty of time.
That's true. I mean, like, it's kind of like, it felt like it was forced. You know?
Yeah, it's a little bit of you need a little bit of a show don't tell.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you were going to do a four pillars, they should have been built up as these are the four biggest guys in our company. I thought it was really funny in their promo package for it. It was like Tony Khan or someone was like, AW has always prided ourselves on homegrown talent. I was like, excuse me?
Moxley, Jericho, Kenny.
Cody.
Moxley again, CM Punk, Moxley again. Yeah, I don't see much homegrown talent before MJF.
Yeah. I was like, oh god, guys.
Oh, Hangman, but then you ruined him.
Yeah.
Because of Punk. So,
Ooh.
I mean, they're good for your titles. No one gives a fuck about.
Yeah, that's
like your TNT All Atlantic Intercontinental Championship.
Intercontinental. That's what they should have named the
That
would have been that would have been the best title they ever came out with. Intercontinental. That would have been so good. So yeah, that's my concern with them. I was just like, ooh, this is they might have pulled the trigger on this one and not let it come as a little bit more naturally. And who knows what Sammy's going to do, because Sammy and Tay, as part of Sammy Guevara's entrance, he brought out Tay and they announced that she's pregnant. Yay. With cue cards. Which kind of MJF kind of pulled it into the match, which again, MJF is really great on the mic. He goes, Sammy, you're about to be a father. Do the right thing. Take the pin for me. just take the pin. You need the money. Take the pin.
That's pretty fun.
Also, side note, Alexa Bliss is also pregnant, so we're not going to see Alexa Bliss for a while.
Yeah, that's one way to get out of the Bray Wyatt storyline.
It was interesting.
Fuck me now.
It was apparently it's an oops baby because Alexa Bliss announced it. I was like, oh, this is the best oops that ever happened to me.
I feel like most babies are oopses.
Sometimes. Well, yeah. So yeah.
Even when you're planning for it, still
it's a whoopsie. Here we go.
I know I wanted this, but wow. Whoops.
Here we are. So there's that. In a very, very quick match, Toni Storm got her title back. They decimated Jamie Hayter. Essentially, they attacked Jamie Hayter during her entrance, and she never got out of first gear.
We made that call last week. T-Storm's going to take that win.
Yeah, T-Storm, the Outcast, become a thing. We are not going to talk about Adam Cole and Jericho. And Will, if you ever watch that match, you will know why.
Why? What happened?
Sabu does one spot and is injured. And
I totally forgot Sabu was involved.
Sabu does one table shot and he's out for the rest of the match. He doesn't even. He's the enforcer / like referee, and he doesn't even finish the match.
EC dub.
Sabu botched his only spot. Yep.
Yeah, dude, it's the classic Sabu. He literally botched his spot as a referee.
Yeah, it was just bad. Like it made me really. I was like, Jericho, you might start thinking about giving it up, dude. Like it didn't do anybody any favors.
So much for the demo god.
Jericho looked real bad. It's all about Sabu. That's a good one, Freds. It's a good one. Yeah, it didn't look pretty at all. It was a really big pile of horse shit. And remember, Jeff Jarrett was on the card, and that match was better.
Oh, yuck. That is a capital Y-U-C-K, yuck.
Although, that was interesting. Karen Jarrett, who's also with Jeff now, by the way. Karen Jarrett hit Aubrey Edwards with a guitar, which was a fun spot to see because I've never seen.
That doesn't make it better. She's the worst.
Yeah, Karen Jarrett's there too.
I just want Kurt Angle to put it on an anchor lock.
It's for all the torture you gave me. Starts going nuts and screaming.
This is for the alimony, bitch.
Yeah. So the other thing that happened on here was that Jade lost the match. So let's talk about what happens to Jade Cargill now. So Jade versus Taya Valkyrie. I didn't know Jade was a sorority girl too. Jade's an AKA sorority sister, AKA alum.
Oh god, imagine that psycho bitch pledging you.
Jade.
Oh my god, yeah.
Well, Jade is part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. They are the oldest African American sorority in America. Their colors are pink and green, so she had some of her sorority sisters come out and they did their stroll there as well, which is cool. Taya Valkyrie came out. They put on a good match for the most part. Jade looked kind of weak. Taya Valkyrie looked strong. But Jade beat Taya Valkyrie. Okay? to go to.
Where's Chris Statlander come in?
So here's what happened. The match was over. Jade beat Ty Valkyrie to go 60-0. Jade's manager, I forgot his name, says that, she's 60-0, blah, blah, blah. We're ready to face anybody, anytime, anywhere. This is where Chris Statlander comes in, and it's a shock finish. They put on an impromptu match because Chris Statlander finally is not injured, and they rocket ship her the title and beat Jade.
Did she boop her?
No, she did not boop her.
She did the boops.
She did not boop her, but Statlander is your now new TBS champion, which I'm okay with, but I was also not okay with because I'm like, you built up Jade to be this big, dominant 60, now you're going to have her lose like that with no build? Like, I could have seen Chris Statlander come out and, like, challenge Jade or get into do like a face-to-face or a face-off, and then you extend that and maybe have, from Marcus, maybe have Chris take Jade out at All In. Your big show in Wembley in Wembley Stadium that you're supposed to put on in like a couple of months. Maybe that's when you have your big undefeated person lose. But you do it at Double or Nothing to a non-packed house.
When you put it that way, Ricky, it's almost like Tony Khan doesn't know how to run a business.
Yeah, Jade is taking time off. You said Jade is taking time off, but yeah, I get it. I understand taking time off, but again, if I'm Tony...
You go, hey, Jade, we've spent 2 years building you. Can you wait 6 fucking weeks?
We're trying to sell out a soccer stadium in Europe. You're the only undefeated champion on our roster. You're the only black champion on our roster. We kind of need you right now. Like, can you wait a couple of weeks and drop the belt to Chris at a bigger crowd?
It's like, listen, lady, Roman worked an extra year after being promised 4 months off. Throw me a fucking bone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, and she's married to a baseball player?
I did. I don't know who it is.
I think it's something Brandon Roberts or something like that. Oh. He plays for the Reds.
Oh, so he's not good.
He's there. But yeah, that was my thing. Like, Chris Statlander at the time before she got injured was one of your up and coming homegrown talents that you kind of want to laud over everybody. But she's been gone for a considerable amount of time, and I knew the crowd was hot for her, and that's great. But you got to build to this mega match with her and Jade, which they didn't do. I think it was rushed. And also, that kind of diminishes Jade's kind of run. Like, for me, I think undefeated streaks in wrestling should be kind of heralded and built up. And when it drops, it should drop at a major thing, like Undertaker's undefeated streak, like Asuka's undefeated streak. Remember how big that match was, Charlotte and Asuka at Mania?
Yeah, no one thought she was losing either.
Yeah, and she, not only did she lose, she fucking tapped.
Yeah.
Okay. But also, that's good because she came into an event undefeated. It was one of the marquee things of that marquee matches of that year, and it worked. It might have been the best match on the card that year.
Technically, yeah. I still give it to Ronda and Triple H.
That was the most entertaining match on the card.
Angle.
Yeah,
yeah, that was probably the best match on the card. But between Charlotte and Asuka and the IC title kick off the match, in terms of wrestling, yeah, those two are right up there.
Yeah.
Don't forget Braun Strowman and Nicholas. Woo! What a doozy.
Nick. It's Hall of Famer right there.
Big Dick Nick, am I right?
Yeah, how was that? What was that, 2018? He's got to be like in high school now.
Yeah.
How much do you think that he uses that? How much Riz do you think he uses with that? He's like, yeah, you see me? I wrestled at WrestleMania. Here's my belt. He probably walks around with a replica belt. Like, yep, won this at WrestleMania.
It's either he's the coolest kid in school or he's the biggest loser.
It's either or. It's nothing in between.
Like, dude, fuck off. Dude. Like, what are you talking about? You're not cool. You were a fake champion, a fake sport. You walk out on a fake belt. You're just a fucking fake.
I want to see.
Be a dick's fake.
I want to see where Nicholas is today because I do want to see what happens with that.
Haircut.
What's up?
Haircut.
Maybe he keeps the same haircut. Who knows? But that was pretty much double or nothing again. I think it was the best out of all the cards. In the second place for me was NXT Battleground. Very surprisingly good. NXT does really good when they're on the road. They really, really do. And they need to continue to do these periodically on the road. Battleground was great. Stand and Deliver was Mania Weekend, so I had the Mania Weekend push. Vengeance Day afterwards was also very good. And they kind of, even though it's not the NXT, the black and gold of all, these performers still understand these televised, non-performance center shows. You need to step it up. That has never gone away with them, and they do a damn good job. Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes 2 for the title was fucking amazing. Okay, Evil Steiner is great. He's so much better now. He just spears people. Okay, so do you see this move right here?
Yeah, it looks like he's just about to take it.
Yeah, so he took it that one time. Carmelo tried to do that again, and he speared him in midair. Caught him and speared him clean.
Ow.
Okay.
Asshole.
It was good. Carmelo Hayes ends up winning. Great match overall. And so now you wonder, he's beaten Braun Breaker twice. What happens to Braun Breaker? More importantly, what's next for Carmelo Hayes? So, Will, you want to know who's next for Carmelo Hayes?
I bet it's Trick Williams.
No, it's the End of Days.
Okay.
Yes.
Baron Corbin.
Corbin has returned. Free agent Baron Corbin, by the way. So they're playing up the free agent thing, which means he can go anywhere. And Baron Corbin has showed up and ended NXT, hitting the End of Days on Carmelo Hayes. So it looks like the summer for NXT is going to be Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with, especially when you get dominant NXT Baron Corbin. Like I want Baron Corbin to grow his hair back out. No,
I don't think he can.
I want him to try. I want the old leather jacket. I want his old theme music. I want everything.
His old theme music was pretty badass.
Yeah.
Too. When Baron Corbin first debuted, he was the fucking man.
Oh, it's great. Well, you know how well he was protected in that. Like, he never lost.
He never lost. They had the fans were counting the length of his matches.
I remember that. And the End of Days was only kicked out of at WrestleMania 38 when Drew kicked out of it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Okay, that was the first time anybody ever kicked out of the End of Days. And Baron Corbin had gone on record of, he goes, which he will never happen again. He goes, I'd rather have no one ever kick out of my finisher than win a world title. And I think that's a great way to look at it.
Okay. you okay, Baron?
Well, I mean, he also lost his
buddy?
opportunity at being a world champion after he had that, fucking tantrum. He got the John Cena stencil. But yeah, Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes seems to be the move here. But let's also go to what I believe, Will, which you need to watch. This is probably the match of the weekend: Ilya Dragunov versus Dijak. Tried to kill each other in a last man standing match. And you've seen Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther when he was Walter.
Yeah, the guy's a psychopath.
Yeah, he's even more of a psychopath. One of my favorite spots of this was that Dijak was getting a table from under the ring, and he had it kind of diagonal, was about to set it up. Ilya Dragunov runs full speed through the table.
Incredible. Wow!
These guys were just bloodied and bruised. Ilya Dragunov hit a coast to coast on Dijak with the steel steps on Dijak's face.
Ow.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was absolutely amazing. It stole the show. Fucking fantastic. I can't say Ilya Dragunov is a main event babyface in the best way possible. He just sells getting his ass beat really well. It's also because he's really pale, and so the bruises look that much more brutal on him. But he's going to be so much fun when he makes it to the main roster. So much fun. I would definitely say, of any match this week, watch that one. That one was really, really good. Moving on to, again, one of the more creative matches, Triple Threat. Joe Gacy, Tyler Bate, Wesley, North American title, kicked off the NXT Battleground show. Fun match. Wesley won again, and Wesley apparently has the most title defenses in North American Championship history.
Cool.
He's defended it 10 times successfully, which is pretty crazy. Interesting thing about this was that what you're kind of seeing here, which is set up, was that Tyler Bate, you know how Tyler does the helicopter spin?
Uh-huh.
He had a helicopter spin on Joe Gacy, and he had the legs of Wesley, so he did a combined helicopter spin and big swing at the same time.
That's ridiculous. Because Joe Gacy's not a small man.
No, Joe Gacy's a pretty well-rounded human being. So that was a fun little spot. They actually worked really well together. But so Wesley, you figure out what's next for Wesley. He's defended it 10 times. Well, guess who? Well, Mustafa Ali has returned to NXT and apparently is going to be the potential next challenger for Wesley.
Cool.
Free agent Mustafa Ali, by the way. Which I'm kind of surprised at because I thought he did a really good job against Gunther. Granted, it was in a loss, but he was in hometown. They made him look as good as possible. So I thought he was going to stick around for a while, but it looks like they're moving him to NXT, which is fine because the NXT can use a little bit more of kind of that main roster up. And again,
Wait, was Stand and Deliver live?
not Stand and Deliver. Sorry, it was Battleground.
Was it live?
It was live. It was on at the same time as Double or Nothing.
They flew this fucker from Saudi Arabia to Lowell, Massachusetts.
No. This was last night. This was on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
This picture is from last night on Tuesday.
Okay, I was gonna say that'd be fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, no, they didn't do him that. They didn't do him that badly. No. This is him showing up last night, on NXT. So he had some time to get down to Florida. Saudi to Lowell is hilarious. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Taquan, and that probably was never going to happen. Never going to happen at all. Also, big things happening. Tiffany Stratton became free agent. Brock versus Braun. Stop it, frets. Tiffany Stratton actually and Aliyah Valkyria had a surprisingly really good women's match for the title. And I'm telling you right now, well, Tiffany Stratton is a star. She's essentially a more fit Trish Stratus in her prime, and she does essentially her finisher is
Look at that tig, though.
she's fit as hell. If you actually look up Tiffany Stratton, her finisher is she essentially jumps up to the top turnbuckle and does a moonsault simultaneously.
Cool.
Yeah. It's actually really good. That she was really over with the crowd. They did a really good job of her. Congratulations to Tiffany Stratton. She has a... they're going to do a battle royal to figure out who her next challenger is. The women's division is pretty wide open. They did reveal who that person in black was that kept on beating up all the women.
Was it Scripps?
It was not... No, they finally demasked Scripps. And they're like, oh my God, it's Reggie! And people are like, yeah, we know.
Was it what's the hell is her name? Nikki Cross?
No, it is not Nikki.
Who is it?
It's not Tessa either. It's actually a finally returning Blair Davenport again. I guess she was injured after her triple threat. That she had the triple threat with Mito Sakamura and Mandy.
Oh, okay.
She was the one. He was like, "Oh, I was going to challenge Mito Sakamura for the NXT UK title," but then they canceled NXT UK. And then, she was the third person in the unification, which Mandy beat both of them. But she is back. She's the person beating everybody up. She should be interesting. And last, but certainly not least, Noam Dar is invited to the cookout, folks.
Come again?
So you see all these African American people with Noam Dar, but that's his faction. That's his faction now.
Amazing.
Noam Dar can say it. Yes, Taquan. So actually, I will tell you, the Heritage Cup match, it's my first time ever seeing a Heritage Cup / British Rounds match. It was actually really good.
Cool.
It was really good. It's because the rounds are 3 minutes max. So everything's really quick. You get 3 minute rounds, and then like 30 seconds to go back to your corner and to your corner man, and then you start up again. So essentially, it's a 20-minute match broken up into 6 segments. This is really good. It was fast paced. They're really pushing Noam Dar. Noam Dar's really good in the ring. I'm not gonna lie to you. And we'll see what happens with his faction, sorry, of African American performers. One of them's Last Legend, Shakara Jackson, and I forgot what the name of the guy is. But this is Noam Dar's official invitation to the cookout. And I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? Noam Dar really does like to be invited to the cookout. Because remember who used to roll with Noam Dar?
Alicia Fox.
Exactly. We should have seen this coming.
He's been to a few cookouts.
He's definitely been to a few cookouts.
This ain't his first cookout.
Not at all. He's probably the one. He's probably like, oh, where are you? He's probably like the adorable, like little guy, but people that we just really love. We're like, come here, kid. You want some food? Come on, eat. Exactly. That's how Noam Dar is treated. So. Again, very, very interesting weekend for NXT, AEW, and WWE. WWE looks the part of the biggest thing in the industry. AEW might have some work to do, and NXT surprisingly really good. And if you guys don't know, CM Punk's going to be returning for Collision in Chicago. You know, because that was a well-kept secret.
Cool.
Yeah. I do want to talk about that. I'm surprised that Tony Khan is allowing them to go back to the well with the CM Punk thing. Especially after how it ended.
If there's money to be made, go make it.
Fair.
If you can work it out like adults, man, work it out like adults. Business should always come first.
But can you? But does CM Punk has a track record of working it out like an adult?
No, he doesn't.
You know what I mean? Like, does he have a track record of working it out as an adult? I don't think so. I really don't think so at all. I mean, granted, he did have a thing. Again, what Triple H did to him when he did fire him was kind of dick. I'm not gonna lie. But Triple H was on to something. Triple H was on to something, but we'll see how this goes. I wonder if Ace Steel returns.
No. Nope. Not happening.
Honestly,
well, I haven't really watched AEW that much since he left. Punk, that is.
Yeah.
Actually, Ace Steel. I'm talking about Ace Steel specifically. I wonder if Punk maybe come back. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be very, very interesting to see what happens with that. Ace Steel has allegedly been working remotely. They gave him a remote position. What was his position in the first place?
I don't know. He probably carried someone's bags.
Probably Punk's. I don't know what Ace Steel was doing. He was an agent. Oh, so he's not a road agent. Okay, he's making matches from the side. He's pulling the Vince McMahon. Is what he's doing. He's an agent. He's a producer. Yeah, I get it. Just like Will was the agent for Adam Cole versus Jericho.
Sorry, guys. I shouldn't have booked Sabu. That was a mistake.
It was a giant mistake. It was so just not great. Not great at all. But that was the weekend in wrestling. Summer's going to be interesting. So looking into the summer, you have Money in the Bank coming up, which Money in the Bank qualifiers have already started. Ricochet has already qualified, as well as Shinsuke Nakamura has already qualified. There is a rumor, Will, that NXT might have a qualifier for Money in the Bank.
Sure.
Which is cool as well. I also want to pose this question for you because I was thinking about this over the weekend, and you're somebody who's probably crazy enough to be like, this might actually work. What if every Money in the Bank qualifier was a ladder match?
Oh, that's too much.
You think so?
Too many ladder matches. They get diluted really quickly.
I just like the idea of like proving that every wrestler knows how to climb a ladder that's in that ladder match.
Yeah. Yes, and he has to have like Tez walking on his hands up the ladder, unhooking with his feet. I did it right.
That'd be a total Montez move. Fish and O'Reilly were not available.
Yeah, Fish didn't call me back, and O'Reilly called me a bad word.
O'Reilly wanted to come in as Cool Kyle. That's why.
And I was like, you can take that shit back to the Indies.
I'll call up Sabu instead. So we have money.
I'll call the Italian already.
So Money in the Bank is the next big one. We don't know what NXT is going to do for the summer. And then we have All In coming as well. And then SummerSlam. So it's going to be a pretty interesting weekend. June's kind of a little bit of a low. All In's going to be... we also have Forbidden Door as well. So it's Money in the Bank, Forbidden Door, All In, and SummerSlam. It's a pretty big card.
It's going to be a rockin' summer.
Yeah, it's going to be a rockin' summer. Honestly, right now, of all the things, I'm really excited. Especially because we don't know really what's on the card for All In or Forbidden Door, really. Or SummerSlam, for that matter. Money in the Bank. I'm very excited for Money in the Bank O2 Arena in London. They already did a promo package for it, and they kind of James Bonded.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, Money in the Bank. I did see that one.
Yeah. I was like, ooh.
It's Bond theme.
It's kind of Bondy. Yeah.
I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a big Bond fan.
I was like, oh, yeah, Bond's British, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. He can only be British.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I'm excited for it. I think that England crowd's gonna be fucking phenomenal for Money in the Bank. I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna kick off, 4th of July weekend. So it'll be real good. And it's gonna be on Canada Day. So hey, Canada people, it's gonna be really
That's too many nations in one sentence.
4th of July, Canada Day, England. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. USA needs to invade one of them. That's what we do best.
We tried to invade Canada years ago. It was a deal that we didn't really go through with.
And they're like, wait, it sucks up here.
It's cold.
It's cold and full of caribou.
Oh, yeah. Crazy times. But that's all we got this week in wrestling. It's going to be an interesting week. Like I said, summer has just begun. So can't wait. And you still work Canada Day? You're ridiculous, Frets. But you know how to make money. I used to work all the holidays when I worked at department stores, too. Because time and a half. Frets, you can't say Celsius. We are Americans. We don't know what that means. At all.
I'm going to think it's like 73.
Maybe. There is a formula for it. But Frets, we don't know Celsius. I'm sorry. Our country's weird. We decided to go against the grain.
No, Ricky. The word looking for is better.
I'm gonna say weird. I'm gonna say weird. The other system goes by a factor of 10, which is really easy to remember, and ours just does not at all. Ours just does not.
Yeah, like 72 is comfortable, 68 is not.
What?
What? 78 is tolerable. 82 is you might want to.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we are done with this week. Let's get out of here into the post show, which I think I have I might have an. No, I don't. We'll have to pull up some. We'll have to pull up some Am I the Assholes for this week.
We gotta make it quick because I'm fucking exhausted.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. All right. Cue the music, sir. Ooh, put it in there. Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 342, the Summer of Wrestling Kickoff, because wrestling is about to be really big this summer. We've got Money in the Bank, we have All In, we have Forbidden Door, and of course we have SummerSlam from Detroit. And literally only one of those events, SummerSlam, is the only event that's going to be in America this summer. Think about that, by the way, folks. Think about that. Wrestling is really, really doing great on a global perspective. I've been your host, King Ricky Rose. You can find me at Ambassador Biggs across all social media outlets whenever the fuck I decide to return. Kings of the Rings podcast, find Kings of the Rings podcast at KOTR_podcast across all social media outlets. Like, share, subscribe, leave us 5-star reviews, buy some of our great merch. The links to all of that are in the description of this show below. If you're listening to us, please subscribe to Wrestle Addict Radio, the cure for the common wrestling podcast, and subscribe to Wrestle Addict Radio socials at addict_wrestle on the hell site that is Twitter, and Wrestle Addict Radio everywhere else. When we come back next week, Kay will be with us. The band will be back together. Hopefully, Kay will be coming out to Carry On My Wayward Son, because that's exactly what Kay would do. We hope, or maybe we'll have something catchier to come out with, because Jeff Hardy wrestled a match over the weekend as well, and apparently that was a thing. Will Tarashak.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Main Event Will Tarashuk because I go on last, baby. Ethan Thomas, ARASHUK. I got no talking with Tarashuk this week. I had to take a break because my computer was in the shop last week. But I got new heating supply and the RGB works again. So
there you go.
It's very pretty over here in the Tarashuk household. Next week, I have a lot of podcasts going on. I'm fucking busy, man. I got a lot of shit happening, but it's exciting. So yeah. See you all next week.
Yeah, folks. So when we come back next week, like I said, Kay Murphy will be back. Jeff Hardy botched the move. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? Kay Murphy will be back. We'll be talking about something going on in wrestling. Hope he will be in the bottom of the fourth according to Roman Reigns' storyline. But who knows what'll happen? And MJF will still be MJF. There was a lot of giving the middle finger during the AEW event too, which I thought was also kind of weird as well. But anywho, folks, enough about all of that. We're going to head to the post show. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Goodbye. Good night. We'll see you soon. And fuck you, Slack.
They were flipping off the empty seats.
Yeah, no one could see where it was going. This has been a Wrestle Addict Radio branded podcast.